Mizkif was once one of the biggest names on Twitch. The funny guy everyone loved to watch for his jokes and games.
Okay, yes! That is not coming off.
You told me to do this. I don't know why you did.
I didn't think you would touch my skin, though.
Sorry.
Got big pizza pie, that's amore.
His streams brought millions of views, sponsorships, and became one of the biggest names on the platform. But behind that success, Mizkif had already gotten himself in a lot of controversy. From fights with other streamers to weird comments on stream, and several allegations of assault. Still, none of those earlier scandals compared to what recently came out, because his name came crashing down completely when he was called out for online harassment, sexual assault, and exploitation by his ex-girlfriend.
The psychological and domestic abuse, stalking and harassment, sexual assault, and threats of blackmail that Mizkif has done towards me, and some of these issues which are still ongoing. For the entirety of this year, I have attempted to separate myself from him and not talk about him at all.
Because of his actions, everybody's calling for his cancellation with comments like, "What a monster, should be locked up." But to understand how Mizkif's downfall got this far, we have to go deeper into the recent allegations. Recently, in October 2025, Twitch streamer Emily Beth Emiru Shunk accused her ex, Matthew Mizkif Ronaldo, of sexual assault, manipulation, stalking, and blackmail. She shared her story during a live stream a few days after an alleged assault by a fan at TwitchCon.
Later, that I feel like it just has to be done. And I have always believed in not condemning people or starting drama online. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be asking, why am I doing this?
In an attempt to save his name, Mizkif went live and admitted part of the story, saying he often felt jealous and might have said things that would feel controlling to Emiru.
Older, to stop wearing pajamas, to stop talking about stalkers and schizos as a whole, stop talking about past relationships, and yes, I didn't want her to travel without me. I also said that I didn't want her to hang out with specific people. This is because I didn't want her to get hurt.
But instead of apologizing, he went looking for ways to drag the negative attention back to Emiru and accused her of abusing her rabbits.
Emiru's rabbits. These are small little mites that are inside the rabbit cage, and she didn't care. She completely neglected these animals, and I'm not going to sit around and let people say that she didn't. People who came to my house knew that they were neglected. This is an up-close view of the rabbit cage being completely disgusting and neglected. She left them to die.
The accusations quickly sparked a media storm. A majority of the people started to side with Emiru. Fellow streamer Zach Armsgold Hoyt and the organization OTK Media publicly distanced themselves from Mizkif, removing him from the group and revoking his shares. OTK has also recently learned that you have committed additional willful breaches of your owner's agreement by violating the exclusivity requirements of your talent management representation agreement with Mythic. As of now, a majority of the board of directors have elected to terminate the owner's agreement on behalf of KGL, effective immediately. You will no longer render any services to KGL, nor will you be publicly affiliated with the company in any way whatsoever. But Mizkif didn't stay quiet about this, because on November 4th, 2025, Mizkif filed a federal lawsuit against Emiru, Asmongold, and OTK Media for defamation, claiming that the allegations had damaged his reputation and that OTK had unlawfully taken his shares. Since then, Emiru and Asmongold have said little publicly about the case, but their fans have. He didn't. Please stop lying. Mizkif's known to be an absolute piece of shit. That's why his org kicked him, and none of his friends associate with him anymore. Not surprised by this at all. And it didn't end there. Older clips began to appear where Mizkif was involved with other moments of abuse. Even though this time, it wasn't completely his fault, the media started to see what he was capable of, and even more people sided with Emiru.
You think I'm gonna kill myself, and all you can say is fuck you. And all you can do is say fuck you.
Things got worse when Asmongold started to react to a video of Mizkif making Emiru and her friends uncomfortable by crashing out on them over a simple joke. The comments from this video really gave clarity on how bad things were. Narcissists will make fun of people all day long, but they cannot handle even one joke at their own expense. Ego's super fragile. What's fucked up is Emiru is showing all the signs of being in an abusive relationship, down to the facial expressions, yet her friends sit and laugh, not recognizing and or caring she's mentally falling apart. Looking back, many people recognize the abusive signs in Mizkif's behavior in earlier videos, feeling sorry for Emiru. Emiru only spoke about her experiences after another assault on TwitchCon, when someone came up to her and harassed her. Even though she was still struggling with everything that happened, she saw how important it was to use her big platform to speak out about this. Her fans immediately stood up for her and saw who Mizkif really was. What a monster, should be locked up. It's crazy how women can be treated like shit and stay with a guy. Miz is clearly a piece of shit. But Emiru's story also gave other people the courage to speak out, because soon after her video, other ladies came online to share their stories of how Mizkif had abused them in the past, like the explanation from Kyuko. Her tweet addressed 3 things that happened between her and Mizkif. In the post, she claims that during her first encounter with Mizkif, she was extremely intoxicated and unable to fully consent, yet Mizkif allegedly compelled her into sex and later pressured her to say it was consensual to protect himself. She also added that they later had a consensual fling, but after it ended, Mizkif reportedly spread harmful rumors about her, calling her manipulative, unstable, and even fabricating stories that caused long-term emotional distress and social isolation. And finally, she also claims that during her relationship with Lakari, Mizkif continued speaking negatively about her, attempting to sabotage their relationship. But it didn't just stay with Kyuko, because other creators started to tell their story too. First came Araya Saki. She says that in June 2025, Mizkif told her, almost casually, one of the reasons Rekful died was because he was jealous of me. She called it disgusting, like he was rewriting someone else's tragedy to make himself the main character. Then Bogwitch stepped in. Back when she lived in Austin, she says she and her husband literally had to peel crazy slick off people at parties, and that Mizkif later tried to cover for him when it all blew up. But it got even worse because Trisha is a birdie also opened up. She says Mizkif crossed physical boundaries with her at TwitchCon 2025 and pressured her. On X, she wrote about the TwitchCon afterparty where Mizkif came up to her to say hi, but just grabbed the top half of my face. She had always been too scared to say anything and was really proud of Emiru for telling her story. Because of all these accusations around Mizkif, people didn't side with him on his lawsuit. It only did more damage to his name. But just when most people thought it couldn't get any worse, he made another dumb statement. Because during one of his live streams, Mizkif made a comment about Charlie Kirk. He said it was a joke, but the people weren't laughing. Within hours,
was definitely a death, for sure. It definitely happened. I saw the video. Am I getting banned for that take? But yeah, I'm glad he's dead.
He said it was a joke, but the people weren't laughing. Within hours, clips of the stream started to go viral with people saying things like, LOL, and he was crying the other day why nobody likes him. Now I can see why. People actually sit and watch this type of content? Where is this funny? The backlash was so strong that Twitch also stepped in. Midway through a sponsored stream, Mizkif's account was suddenly suspended. Reports later confirmed that the ban was due to violating Twitch's policy against making jokes about death or violence. Mizkif gets banned mid-sponsor stream after controversial joke. Twitch staff accidentally reveals ban reason on stream that wouldn't die. This incident became yet another stain on Mizkif's fragile reputation, showing how quickly one comment could destroy whatever sympathy he had left. For many viewers, it wasn't just about the joke. It was a sign that Mizkif still hadn't learned from his past controversies. But these are just the latest controversies around his name. During his rise, he had found himself in way bigger trouble. Matthew Mizkif Ronaldo was born on February 16, 1995, in Montclair, New Jersey. Growing up, he always liked gaming and making content, long before streaming was an everyday job. He has spoken about fighting ADHD and later a heart condition, which forced him to take his health seriously, even while building his online presence. Later, he started working as a cameraman for another streamer, Ice Poseidon. in 2018, a behind-the-scenes role that gave him a feel for what works in the streaming world. This period of small community, just grinding, ended when he started leaning into his personality, with more just chatting time. One of his highlights was in March 2020 when he earned over $5,600 doing a sleep stream, literally streaming while asleep. His platform started to grow fast, and during the US presidential election period, Mizkif ranked among the top watched streamers on Twitch. But then came his biggest move, which has now become a big part of his downfall. Because on October 11, 2020, Mizkif co-founded the organization One True King, or OTK, alongside streamers like Asmongold and Sfand. This move was huge because he became part of a brand-driven enterprise, with multiple creators, events, collaborations, and a business structure. But just as Mizkif's career was reaching its peak, the cracks behind the scenes began to show. And it didn't take long before one of the biggest scandals would nearly destroy everything he had built. Back in April 2019 at the PAX East Gaming Convention, Mizkif and fellow streamer Sfand were doing an IRL livestream when they approached a cosplayer and streamer known as Emiru. What started as a casual moment quickly turned into a more spicy conversation.
Daddy, Jenna. Say it. Daddy, Jenna.
You've definitely watched
Has definitely watched
more than
4 episodes of anime.
Boy, why gotta be difficult?
What?
Why gotta be difficult?
Because you like it, obviously. That's what I'm talking about.
It was meant as humor, but many found it inappropriate and disrespectful, especially given that it happened live in a public place. Within days, Twitch reviewed the footage and banned both Mizkif and Sfand for 7 days due to inappropriate comments made during a live broadcast. Mizkif later tweeted an apology, admitting he was in the wrong, saying, "I was completely out of line, and for the love of God, please do not take it out on anyone. It was my fault." Though it was short, this early suspension foreshadowed what would later become a recurring pattern in Mizkif's career. Because even after the 2019 PAX East incident, Mizkif continued to walk a fine line with Twitch's rules. Old DMs between Mizkif and streamer Ice Poseidon from years earlier resurfaced, showing him using racial and homophobic slurs, even including the N-word. While he didn't get a ban for this, his following still dropped a lot, and he later made sure to still get a ban and a DMCA strike for streaming clips of banned streamer Groscore and streaming MILF Manor. Mizkif slapped with Twitch ban, DMCA strike after streaming bizarre reality show. But this was nothing compared to the scandal he got himself into in September 2022. This all started when Twitch streamer Adriana Lee went live to talk about an incident that had happened a year earlier, an alleged sexual assault by another streamer named Crazy Slick, who happened to be one of Mizkif's closest friends. Adriana described being touched without consent at a party in 2021 while she was passed out. Her story had been known quietly among some streamers, but few dared to speak publicly until she did herself.
January 2020, I was at a party, fell asleep, got touched by Crazy Slick. He was, quote, checking my pulse by touching my neck and chest area and trying to feel my heartbeat. And if anyone knows anatomy of a woman, your heart is on your boob. So then there's multiple people in the room, but 2 of them were my good friends, and they said, please get away from her. You don't need to do that. He left the room, came back multiple times, had to be told not to touch me multiple times.
That same day, streamer Trainwrecks TV dropped a bombshell tweet accusing Mizkif of covering up the assault to protect his friend. He claimed Mizkif had sent his then-girlfriend Maya Higa and another friend Mitch Jones to Adriana's house to downplay the story, allegedly asking her to frame the incident as something minor to protect OTK's image. His post read, "Are you going to send Maya and Mitch to railroad and blackmail me like you did those girls to cover up all those sexual assaults, you fucking scumbag piece of shit? You want to come at me and make shit up? Then you better make sure you die live in a glass house, you insecure pussy." But it seemed like many didn't get what he was saying in this tweet, so in another tweet, he made it a bit more clear by saying, "The people involved know the truth, but But for those of you that are farming drama and coming to split conclusions, let me be even more clear. Mizkif didn't assault the woman. He orchestrated the cover-up for his friends, exactly how my tweet reads. Soon after, Maya Higa posted her side of the story. She confirmed that she and Mizkif had indeed gone to Adriana's house, but denied trying to silence her. According to Maya, their intent was to make sure everyone was on the same page, and she only told Adriana what she was told before the story spread online. I did not go to the house that day with the intention of manipulating Adriana's story. I did not cover up sexual assault. This would not be possible, as even Adriana did not consider the incident to be sexual assault until this past Monday, 9/19/2022. As she said on her stream, Adriana's feelings regarding the situation have rightfully changed since that day, and I support her. Mizkif, on the other hand, went live days later, trying to explain his side. He admitted that, yes, he was involved with the visit to Adriana's house, but he insisted his intentions were good. But in the same stream, he downplayed parts of the event, defending himself more than acknowledging the damage done. He blamed drama farming and insisted the situation was blown out of proportion. OTK soon suspended him for lack of empathy and ignorance in how he addressed the situation, only giving him more damage to his reputation. But that wasn't the end of Mizkif's troubles, because the real storm came much later when Adriana Lee filed a defamation lawsuit against several creators connected to the OTK organization, including Mizkif, Crazy Slick, and Maya Higa. The suit alleged that their comments and actions had damaged her reputation and mental health, and she was seeking an astonishing $2 million in damages. At first, many believed this would finally bring closure to the years-long feud, but the outcome wasn't what most expected. After months of legal back and forth, the court ultimately ruled in Mizkif's favor, clearing him of all liability and declaring that the evidence did not meet the standard for defamation. For Mizkif, it was a relief, at least on paper. Yet the way he handled his victory made people only doubt him more. After the judgment, he went live and posted a video celebrating the decision, claiming he had lost his life during the case, and that his vindication proved his innocence came in this trial and in every controversy that had come before.
So, I mean, what is everyone to say when they were like, oh, Mizkif fucking investigated himself? Nope, I fucking won in court. For what, you're only gonna dig that shit up? Nope. I don't give a fuck. I need to say this. I'm tired of it being just something that lingers in my life. I want a concrete video that shows I literally won in court. I want a concrete video that shows I literally got investigated and proven false. I want a concrete video that shows that literally it was all lies and everyone in the Twitch community realized that in 2 weeks, but no one else knew it because they were spreading lies and misinformation. All that needs to be said and done so I can finally move on from this. How I lost $300,000, how I tried to kill myself, how it ruined my life, how I can't sleep still because of it, how I've never been able to recover, how mentally exhausted I am, how I've lost so many viewers and fans over it over years.
Now, technically, nothing he said was wrong. He had been legally cleared. But when you zoom out, his reaction painted a different picture. For someone who claimed to value responsibility, Mizkif seemed more focused on boasting about freedom than showing remorse. And for a scandal like this to come up again, you can't be sure if Mizkif is actually innocent.
Will you marry me?
You see, if it was like, maybe like this, I would say yes, but since it's like this, I have to say no. Because this is just too big, like I need to like...
How do you know if it's too big if you've been a virgin your whole life?
Because like, I just know I...
Mizkif's actions over the years have caused many to question his authenticity, leading to a massive drop in followers. Today, he's still streaming, but the trust from his audience is nowhere near what it used to be. But Mizkif isn't the only influencer who's accused of assault. In the past, we've seen these allegations flying around Jake Paul's neck too. Because of this and many other scandals Jake found himself in, a big part of his audience turned against him as well. If you want to see more about that, make sure to watch this video. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.